Phone this thing. Seven.
Hello, viewers out there. You're welcome once again to Sports Orbit. My name is Afa Acho. Salifu Usman is also in the studio with me. Salifu, welcome to Sports Orbit.
Yeah, I should thank you.
All right, on today's edition of the program, of course, as we most of us are aware, the Olympics concluded yesterday. That is talking about the Paris 2024 Olympic. And on today's edition of the program, we'll be focusing mostly on the just concluded Olympics, especially as regards Team Nigeria's performance at the Olympic. And of course, for the eighth time in Olympic history, Nigeria's athletes will return home empty-handed as Team Nigeria concluded the Paris 2024 Olympics without winning a single medal on Saturday. 88 athletes featured across 12 sports for Nigeria at the Olympics, while Nigeria's struggles date back to Helsinki in 1952 with subsequent disappointments in Melbourne in 1956, Rome in 1960, and a brief respite at Tokyo in 1964 where Nojim Mayegun won Nigeria's first Olympic medal. The drought continued in Mexico in 1968, Moscow 1980, and Seoul in 1988 before the latest disappointment in Paris. So, I mean, Salifu, for a lot of us, especially on Saturday where Nigeria participated, if I can recall, almost close to, I think, five or six events, and it was. And on Saturday, because I was following all through, and I was very optimistic, hoping that at least they will be there, that at least will win a medal. But it was from one bad news to the north, and it kept coming. In this event, you hear fail to make it. Next event, another 20-30 minutes. Either this one will have been disqualified. Next event, and it continued and continued and continued, and it was really heartbreaking for Team Nigeria indeed. After all, the assurances from the sports minister, like we were speaking before we came on air with some colleagues, it's not about talking about, yes, we'll do this, we'll do that. Olympics is not where you go, it's not I beg, help us with medal, or take this and give us medal. If you don't perform, you simply don't get anything. Like, you don't perform 2 weeks to an Olympics and expect to perform better than you did in Atlanta in '96.
Yeah, Afa, thank you. Team Nigeria performance at the Paris Olympics, our awful afternoon. In my view, I see many factors are responsible, but I see majorly factors that are, in my view, that is contributed, that led to our poor performance is poor leadership. And when I say that word very carefully, what I mean by poor leadership is that when you fail to plan well, obviously you are planning to fail. There's no way about it. And if you recall last week when we were at the last program, I say from the where we are now, the probability of Nigeria winning the medal is very slim. Yeah. Because even the potential medalists like Amusa and Dekurui, the pressure on them now, I say it's too much. So that pressure, they may likely going to fail. I say this clearly, and that's how it play out. Not that I was doubting their capability or their capacity. I still believe that Amusha is an Olympic gold medalist. He has what it takes to be Olympic gold medal. Adekuru is half what it takes to be Olympic gold medal. But the factors within the Nigeria camp contributed to the failure of those games. And how would you describe, for instance, if from the one when we went to the Olympics, before even the team Nigeria started well, the first game, the first event was the table tennis. Before the medal prospect when we play Aruna Kodri, who once saw as well as a top-ranked tennis player, one of the top ranked within the top 11 ranked players in the world, couldn't go beyond the first rank of an Olympic event. It's quite unfortunate, very disappointing. It happened to him, and all the tennis contingent, all of them dropped out in the first round. Then we went to the badminton. The team leader, the captain of the team, who's I still have the video and the audio of when I spoke with an interview the secretary of the Nigeria Olympic Committee, Tunde Pupola, where he clearly said in confidence that they are very sure that Opeyori is going to win it. Opeyori is going to medal, but he don't know the color of the medal. That's very sure Opeyori is likely going to medal. The same Opeyori could not even go the first round of the competition. Lost to first match. You started from there, and then here come the shock when Ofili, your own national champion, your own Nigerian champion, was not listed, was not registered for an event he qualified for. And sometimes there are some things you don't treat with levities. You need to approach serious action. So as to encourage the athlete that yes, if by the event anybody tore with my foot or tore with my life, somebody is there to protect me. An athlete, a national champion at the very event that he qualified for and train and prepare for, only for her to come to the event and find out that he was not registered for that event just for administrative classes of certain people. And you as the Minister of Sport, you say you are setting up a committee to do what? Committee to what? Kill snake? When the simple things to find out is just item. So at what stage is their name got missing? It's something that at least at most in my view, 30 minutes is over enough. Within 10 minutes you should find a solution, who and who is responsible, and take an appropriate action. I keep on saying it. Sunday Gary in 2019 as a minister, and he was just coming as the minister, although he had his own flaw, he has his own lapses. I'm not saying he was a perfect minister. He has his own lapses, he has his own failure. But he's taking a decision that everybody, some of us commended him up to today. So that the technical director of the Athletic Federation of that time, some athletes will have messed up in the debate. Some days instantly he recalled him back from the game at the Doha Championship. You are there as a minister, a national athlete, a national champion, a potential medalist. Her name was dropped for an event. You see, they set up a committee. Committee to do what? You now approve money for the committee to go and sit in. Then they now, after 2 or 4 weeks, they now bring report. You now look at it. What kind of nonsense? So that alone has baffled the morals of athletes. It clearly shows that you are not there for them. And we'll see how that the same of went to the final of the 200 meter. Only God knows if you have competed in the 100 meter, because the 100 meter is shorter.
Not even forgetting the incidents of the cyclists.
I'm trying to come in there. Okay, and as I said, that is one lapses I see from the administration. Lapses. Okay, when we are going to the Olympics, instead of the managers the sport managers to concentrate on how to motivate the athlete and to ensure that to keep the athlete in focus for the game, they were NOC ministry were busy fighting about kit. That they have to kit. Who is responsible? These are all because of both selfish interest. Who get return, who gets commission from the top of the table. Is that your motive why you come there? It clearly shows that we have no focus for that. So this has more. And then you talk about even the excuse, the first excuse they give about the cycling issue talk that yes, the athlete only qualify for one event. And it's only at the Olympic 2 weeks, 3 weeks to the event that they get 3 weeks to the Olympic that they get to know that one certain Africa is it for South Africa? I can't remember one African country was disqualified.
All those things were pure.
No, excuses. wait. Now I'm trying to use it so that the one Africa was qualified and instantly that spot was awarded to Nigeria and then that's okay. Since I was saying that Nigeria was only fun to fill that gap, so Nigeria should come in and compete. Okay, are you telling me now that the Cycling Federation, the Nigerian Olympic Committee, and the ministry, we don't have just specified cycling for that event? And even though we are going for even 3 weeks was given, we have 90 billion approved for you for the Olympic. You don't have the money to even to do an emergency process of that track. You have to subject us for an athlete to borrow a cycling. That is an international embarrassment.
One of the most ridiculous statement the minister made was that to get that kind of athlete, that's why on social media you could imagine that it takes 3 months. People say, look, these bicycles you can walk into any bicycle shop in Paris and you get it instantly. How can you tell me that it takes 3 months to configure an ordinary bicycle?
Is he a specified model for that particular athlete?
They say walk into any sports shop in Paris. Not even in Paris,
even within Africa.
Even in Nigeria, you go to sports shop here.
You get the bicycle.
You get those bicycles. And you telling
me it takes 3 months to
configure and to ship it. Who are you telling? And are you taking Nigerians for a joke?
No, it's not a joke. Taking Nigeria for granted, for right, and see. Okay, and at the same time, look, let's just see. These are some of the things I see that the last. I'm not 100% blame the athlete that they are. In my view, the athlete did their best, but based on certain circumstances, they found themselves, so they couldn't help, and then we found ourselves. So, but now where we are now is that 9 billion was approved for that Olympic. The 9 billion include the winning bonus for the medalists. Now, so the question I'm asking the minister now, and I hope he get to listen, and whoever is listening to tell him how the money that was proposed for the award of medal, since we don't win medal, so out of how much change is he bringing from the 9 billion? Since God, we participated in 12 events with 88 athletes, so with 88 athletes, potentially plus or minus, you have your mind that instruction, you should win a medal, have at least 3 or 4 medal or whatever. So the dollars are supposed to be awarded for a winning medal. So I think he's going to return that to Nigerians.
We'll discuss that. It's an ongoing story, at least so. I mean, a lot of things won. Bravo. Let's move on to that. Of course, one of the bright sparks of Team Nigeria, no, without a doubt, was the Tigress, and of course, rightfully so. Rene Wakama, the coach, has been named Paris 2024 Olympics best coach of the Olympics, and of course, deservedly so. I mean, taking the Tigress team who were completely demoralized because what they went through shortly before Dari left after qualifying for a tournament, and you just wake up one morning from nowhere and say, no, you can't go to this tournament because your federation are in crisis. But of course, Wakama came, took over that team, won them the African Championship for the fourth time in a row, and qualified them to the Olympics. And for the first time, male or female basketball team took them to the quarterfinal and put up a good fight against Team USA, who were eventually crowned winners in that tournament.
Well, honestly, I don't my heart for this particular
at just 32 years old.
In Nigeria for that matter, and congratulations to her, is badly deserved. And one thing that surprised me most, one thing that impressed me most about this lady is that, and I don't know what is her calling. It's a psychology. I don't know. It's a cool. We know it's a course, but I don't know what is her calling in terms of what they read in school. But I read psychology. God, I can't imagine. It surprised me. Apart from even they ban them from withdraw them from competing. If you recall the Olympic at the opening ceremony where they banned from entering the boat when they're supposed to go for parade for opening ceremony. That alone is enough to withdraw that any athlete from performing. But this girl was still ensured that he was able to sack this lady up and not just be the lesser time Australia team in the opening match. Coming from that trauma, and you have Australia, a number 10 ranking team in the world to contend with, and from nowhere they were able to subdue the Australia and get to progress to the final. To progress, and then the second match, well, the defeat to France, I will not is expected because France has the supporters behind every team. They are the host. They lost and they bounced back against Canada, and even the quarter-final match. Except any idiot in the whole world that will say they lost to the US. Yes, they lost by figure, but in terms of performance, they clearly justify that why they are in that quarterfinal, because the gap is the same thing they play about a year, less than a year ago in the qualify that give them almost 60 point gap. And in within the year you meet the same team, you are able to narrow it down to just 14. So it's kudos to the girl. But one thing that obviously, in as much as we celebrate it, that some things that we need to all look at, we shouldn't attribute to the success of basketball in Nigeria.
No, at all.
That is one thing everybody should clear. Nobody should clear that our performance in the basketball at the Olympics should not be attributed to any basketball development, because in terms of basketball, it's completely dead in Nigeria. For the past 8 years, there's no league in Nigeria basketball, and Kida and his group should not celebrate this victory, because what we have is just a US second team, because most of those lads are trained in US, so they are US second team.
Actually, right now, still on the Olympics, of course, after 2 weeks of competition, China haven't led the table for so long. Team USA finally edged China to claim the Paris Olympics medal table spot. Of course, that victory over France yesterday, just winning by 1 point in basketball, eventually gave them the gold medal, which ensured that the USA, they both finished both on 40 gold medals, but as a result of more silver and bronze medals. Of course, USA winning overall medals, I think 127 there, about China's 98 or there, if I'm not mistaken. But of course, congratulations to Team USA once again, most successful Olympic team in history, and they continue to, every Olympic they continue to maintain their level. And like we said, these things don't happen by wishful thinking or by prayer. It's by planning.
It's by planning, and at the same time, corporate body involvement.
Sure.
And this is what is lacking in Nigeria. Most of the success we are seeing in team is not by US government.
No, at all.
It's by the corporate organizations, corporate body funding sport. But we don't have that in Nigeria.
All the government does over there is to give you enabling
the government is not directly involved in sport promotion or in sport development. And the US, the only fly soil in US in terms of sport development is their football. If not, every sport you can think of US is already there. Tennis, they have the stars, football, anything you can, any game you mention, US is there. And if you look at it, and most of those athletes are dominated by black athletes.
So quickly look at the medal table. Of course, like we said, USA on top, number 1, China second, Japan doing strongly, coming third, there Australia fourth, France, like the president rightly said, yes, they said the target was to finish in the top 5, which they eventually did. Netherlands coming 6th, and Great Britain coming in 7th place in that order. I mean, like we always say, not too many surprises. These are the usual suspects in every Olympic, and like we keep saying, is because of a lot of these countries now. In fact, let's say they're not even preparing for 2028 right now, because I can tell you that for 2028 they are even ready. They are ready. Maybe now their planner is for 2032.
Yeah, looking at the athletes they have now, not going to the 2032.
Yeah.
So once are the likely athletes that those will be groomed for the 2032. And if you look at that medal table, I hope the producer will bring the medal table on the table again. If you look at that medal table, Team Japan that finished third. 3 years ago in Japan, as a whole, they finished that third and they maintained that position. And at the same time, if you look at Team Great Britain, they won 16 medal, 16 gold this time around. 2 years ago they won 3 years ago in Tokyo they won 14 gold medal. So there's a progression. And if you recall your mind back at Atlanta '96, Nigeria were ahead of Great Britain on the medal table. But where are we after that? We keep on going. After we won 2 gold medal at the Atlanta Olympics, we want to hope that we can arrive a total of 6 medal. 2 gold, 1 silver, and 3 bronze. Fantastic performance, fantastic feat. We hope that we are gone. But in the next Olympic, we'll try to. Okay, coming there fast forward, we come to the Beijing Olympic. We made to get a medal. We came to London 12 without a medal. Then after the London 12 never go without a medal. We went to the Rio without a medal, but we managed to win a bronze medal because of Sam Simpson and his football team. You also need the scenario that play out and how they were also stranded. If left for the government permission, left for the officials, they would have been able to get to the bend of the Olympic. But they're strong on their own, fast to find their way and to get help somewhere. With Mika Lubia, these are some of the times they commend Mika Lubia for the role he played that time. It was thinking he has to single-handedly finance some of the team finances. So they get us a medal. Well, Tokyo Olympic, people say it's Roddy Jeffs that you can answer that Tokyo Olympic is now far better than what we are now. Still 1 silver, 1 bronze. But here, and this is the first Olympic we went to in the last 2 decades that we have the bright prospect of winning a medal. In the previous Olympic, like Rio, Tokyo, we were not too sure that we are going to make a medal. But this one, we went to the medal with full confidence that in sports like this, wrestling, in sports like this, weightlifting, in sports like this, tennis, we are sure of going to get a medal. But unfortunately, we all fall out. And I hope the people like Daniel Gali will be very disappointed, because if you tell Daniel Gali that he's not going to come back with a 2 medal or 3 medals, you say we are lying. But unfortunately, Ghana is not to return home, and then return home quietly, unannounced, without any medal. It's quite unfortunate, and we need to address this issue. Just like you talked about earlier, okay, people are talking, sometimes people are talking about huge money was released. Yes, 9 billion is a huge money, but when was this money released? You release the money for participation, but this is the money is supposed to become from preparation.
So let's move on from that for lack of time. Of course, still the Olympics anyway. Of course, the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has criticized Nigeria's sports leadership following the country's disappointing performance at the just concluded Olympics. I mean, there's nothing new. I mean, it's the matter with really set shape. I mean, completely administrative lapses, and all of that, and So, like we said, a lot of things will unravel. Of course, the team will come back. Of course, they will have the Paralympics where historically we always done well. But of course, some heads need to roll. Some people need to answer some questions on why some certain things happen the way it happens. And we hope that we'll see how the government sits up to, especially the National Assembly, who are the ones who actually approve and release, make approvals.
Right. If you are waiting for the National Assembly to do the job, they'll not do it. By the time they get sent to themselves, they settle themselves within the room.
We're just saying, I mean, some progress be done. At least let's even hear one or two things, especially what I like to know. Sometimes these probes, yes, something are not done, but some things come out of it. We know that, okay,
maybe anti-graft agency need to come in to find out how the money was appropriated and who get what.
Yeah. All right, let's move on from that. Of course, some cheering news for most Nigerians as former Super Eagles head coach Samson Siache is expected to take a role with a local league club in the coming days. From what you understand, he's banned from football due to some issues he had some years ago will end this month, and of course he will be back in action, and we're hearing that he's almost nearing agreement with a club based in Jos, if I'm not mistaken, for him to get back to coaching.
Yeah, obviously, some of us who his fans, we can't wait to see Sam Fisher back on the bench, on the stand. He's one of the greatest coaches you have in this world, in this country, and it's quite unfortunate how he was treated this way. In as much as me, I'm still disagree how Sam Fisher was accused, was banned by FIFA. And sometimes these are some of the decisions. Some of FIFA is not fair. You accuse somebody of not that he was collected a bribe, an attempt to collect bribe. That was an attempt to collect bribe. But we are here in this country, somebody who was obviously accused of collecting bribe was not banned. He's still a coach and was even given a national team job. But somebody who was accused of an attempt to collect bribe.
All right. Once again, Victor Osimhen is in the news. His unending transfer saga this time. Rumors has it that Chelsea are ready to ramp up interest in Victor Osimhen after he handed in a transfer request over the weekend, according to reports coming out from England. Of course, Victor Osimhen's saga has been on since last season. This at the point it was PSG. Tomorrow you hear it's Arsenal. Tomorrow you hear this, and well, until the end of the season before we'll know if Victor Osimhen will stay at Napoli or not. Like a lot of people have said, and I can't remember which former player said. He said, look, he felt last season was when Osimhen would have actually left Napoli. When he was hot. Exactly. But somehow he was, how should I put it, cajoled into committing his future. He signed another deal, and now, he looks like Napoli want to get rid of him. He took his time, so the back and forth, and his value obviously have dropped drastically. But the high still buyer clause, the club is still not interested in bringing it down.
I said it later. I don't know whether last week. Sometimes African players need to learn, and when you do, they say shine your eye. Well, shine your eye and trying to learn from the experience of others. Okay, in the case of Kylian Mbappé, when he was tempted to leave from PSG, PSG was not willing to let him go. After that was about 2 seasons ago. So they now forced him. They now to let him negotiate a new contract. He declined because he was already positioned in his mind that he want to leave. Exactly. Last year, the same thing, they come back with a new contract. He declined.
It was better for him to
he knows that since you are not willing to let me go, even when my contract will expire in 2 years time or in 1 year's time, you still refuse me to go, and you want me to ask to sign a new contract. It's when I sign a new contract that you now want to let me to go.
I'd rather stay there and let the contract.
And he stay there. I'm there. I'm not going. No problem. I'll stay. He stay and his contract expire. Then now he's free agent. He moves easily without any question, without anyway. Osimhen know he has already half his mind to leave. Last season you have less than a year on your contract, and you want to move next season. But somebody cajole, just like you know where exactly you say cajole him. You keep quiet and you sign another 5 years contract and put another buy clause that you know that no club will be able to pay out. So who does that? I blame Osimhen, and at the same time his agent. Sometimes the agent will have in Nigerian players agent are service agent.
Agent is interested in money. I mean,
the service agent who are only interested on their own pay cut. If you are managing a player, how will you allow the player that you know that you are very programmed to leave next season to sign a new contract that will tie him down on the release clause? Now,
in fact, during the weekend, like Chukwueze said, he said he almost moved to Saudi Arabia. His agent came, persuaded him that the move to Saudi Arabia is big money, big money. This, of course, the agent knew he was going to get a big goal, but Chukwueze said, "Look, I still want to be in Europe. Yes, the money is big, but I don't care about the more money. I want to establish myself in Europe," and he refused to go. You know, so it's like
fantastic stand,
exactly.
fantastic decision, because the agents are always interested in their percentage.
Yes, exactly.
But now, Osimhen, I pity for him. Now the season is already started. Some people are playing by next week. This weekend we'll have the league.
Exactly.
So Arsenal Premier League will start this weekend. Osimhen is not sure either he's going to play here or he's going to play. And just like you see, it's like either Napoli want to get rid of him. His value has declined drastically. So, but it's now about controversy. Should I leave or not to leave?
All right, quickly before we leave, of course, the U.S. gymnast Jordan Shields was stripped of her bronze on after medal she won in Monday's women's floor. The International Gymnastics Federation confirmed that Romania's Ana Barbosu has been upgraded from 4th to 3rd after a ruling by the Court of Arbitration for Sports upheld an appeal by the Romanian Olympic Committee. Of course, initially she had won bronze, but score fell outside the 1 minute limit for such appeals and will be disregarded. So she's been stripped of that medal, and that medal has been awarded to Romania. That's the bronze medal.
Sometimes most of those sport officials needs to be off their game. If somebody asks for a permission, either because he needed to treat himself on the sideline, and if there's a time limit for doing so, you allow her to have the time. You allow her to come in and compete. Only to give her medal, and only to the stripper of a medal a few days later. It's quite unfortunate. Sometimes the officials need to be off their game and officiate appropriately.
All right, away from that now, of course, IOC chief, Thomas Bach, says he will not be seeking a third term as the head of the IOC. He said new times are calling for new leaders. The 70-year-old German lawyer who has been in charge since 2013 told the session of IME members in the French capital. Of course, I mean, rightly so, knowing when to...
Decision, exactly. Because even when he won the second term is by appeal, he has to plead with something. The World Athletic president, Co, is eyeing the position, and he mounted serious pressure 4 years ago to unseat him, but he has to plead and the people have to agree. So he knows that even though he knows the ambition to come back again, he knows it's going to be very tough for him to come back for the top camp. So it's better to just exit yourself quietly so that it will be embarrassed out.
Of course, to some football news now, where of course Saliba and Gabriel were on the score sheet as now wrapped up their preseason with a 2-0 victory against Lyon in the Emirates Cup on Saturday. Of course, I mean, almost before you know, like most will say. Of course, I mean, before you know it, I mean, this weekend the Premier League resumes once again.
Yeah, Premier League will kickstart this weekend, and a whole lot of clubs are very prepared, and obviously we can't wait to see this season start. And just like so we begin to see where is he going to swing to this time around, because we have the big four. We have the big four, and not only the big four have expanded. So we can confidently say that after almost 6 teams or 8 teams have the relative chance of making the top 4. So it's going to be Premier League is going to be very, very competitive this season. And even I heard Pep Guardiola, despite being beating a Man U on a penalty in the Community Shield Cup, that say that his club is not ready. It's like a club is not ready for the season.
All right, for Everton, another bad news. Look like they could be, and deducted 3 points deducted points once again for the 3rd time for financial breaches. Once again, Everton had to deal with this all through last season and somehow found a way to escape relegation. But looks like they might still be deducted points once again.
I think the injustice is everywhere. Fair adjudication is everywhere. Everton, we deducted them 2 times, and now you are tracing them again. But the big fish, the big man who has been accused of fair play, you are still deciding. So what is the fair decision in your fair play decision?
All right.
Man City have been accused several,
and yet
nothing has been done.
Well, some say sometimes the big laws find a way of getting away with a lot of.
Oh, I think corruption is played out everywhere.
All right, that's our package on today's episode of Sports Orbit. We'll be back, of course, during the weekend. Of course, the EPL resumes this weekend, so do trust us to give you a bumper package of Sports Orbit when we return for our next edition. Salifu, thank you for being in the studio on today's Sports Orbit.
Thank you, Ashu.
We'll be back again, hopefully, during the weekend. Do have a wonderful time. My name is Alpha Chua, and it's bye for now.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship,
Okay, no even.
advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership.